Good evening, everybody. I hope the stream is finding everyone well. I hope everybody had a good weekend and everything was your weekend went well and thank you for uh, for joining me. Those of you who have, I'm just making sure that Twitch actually. Yes, okay. I am streaming. For some reason it is not showing up in my stream manager. um but I apparently am. All right. So, welcome everyone to this. I believe this is now part 6 of my playthrough of Tim Hutchings' Thousand-Year-Old Vampire. And we've had quite a few interesting adventures already. We're gonna have some more. Let's we'll find out what's in store for Dagny this evening. So the book cover again is right. Sorry, I will get this right. Is right over there. That is a copy of the hardcover book, the player's book for this game. I really cannot wait to get the second printing. Hopefully it'll be on its way soon with any luck. Um, so I am Jen. All of my handles are right down there, down in my link, or sorry, in my link tree, and as well, and you also have my Twitch link down there in my dice tray, and you also have the link to if you want to get this game for yourself, if you want to get it as a either as a PDF, downloadable PDF, or if you want to get a physical copy of the book, that link, timhutchings.itch.io, and again, that is sitting below in my dice tray. So where we left off, sorry, let me pull the book down. There we go. So where we left off, when we left off last session or last stream, I I ended up in Portugal. I am living in Porto, and or I guess I'm just east of Porto. I'm just outside of Porto, and um, I had just awakened. I just woken from I believe it was a very long slumber. I'd fallen asleep and I'd been sealed in what had been my home, and I woke up and I realized that there were people living in my home, in what had been my home, and so I fled, and I'm now outside of Porto, and I built myself I built a labyrinth on my property in hopes of attracting I don't know, tourist people, and as a way of sort of I guess I kind of created as an allegory for life, I suppose. Um, so yeah, so that's where we left off, and just gonna go over things that I have right here. I have completely forgotten who I was. I've completely forgotten my name, the name that I was born with. I was born Dagny. I was a Viking shield maiden, and I am no longer Dagny. Since then, I have adopted about I've adopted three different names. I have Anne. I have Arnak, which was given. That one was given to me by the Greenlandic people. I believe it was in the second or third part of this stream, and and then I took the name Agnes when in last session when I had to flee. I fled Greenland and ended up in Portugal. My skills, I've lost a few. I still have a few. Still have a few. Have a few skills. I know how to sail. I know others like me exist. My footsteps are silent, which is thanks to the fact that my feet are essentially they're essentially polar bear feet. Um, and I know how to fish. That is helpful. It was helpful when I was in Greenland. I became a fisherman, and then I fled to Portugal and took up a job again as a fisherman, and it was a pretty good life. Um, I know how to be a middleman. I know I know how to I know how to be the go between two different groups of people, and make sure that both parties get the better end of the deal, I suppose. And I'm also a visionary, which is the skill I was told to take when with the last prompt when I created the labyrinth. I created a fantastic construction that you know puzzled all the mortals that took it in, and I have lost a skill. I was actually told to lose a skill in one of the prompts. The skill that I lost is I only feed on the dead and dying. I don't do that anymore. um, I try as hard as I can to hunt. I guess to hunt animals, I suppose, to sort of be a bit of a vegetarian vampire, as it were. But it doesn't always work out. My resources now. I This is where things could get a little bit interesting because this is where things actually do get a little bit interesting because I have no resources. I've none, none at all. Um, I have my diary. You just do see my diary listed there, but that is more of a that's just more of a note to me that tells me that this is something that I'm still carrying around with me. I still have this helmet with carvings etched into the metal, and but that's it. That's the only thing it's the only thing I have now. And so if I come across another prompt that tells me if the next prompt, let's say, tells me that I need to lose a resource, instead I need to check a skill instead because I don't have a resource to check. And likewise, if you end up with no skills and you're told to check a skill, you lose a resource. Um, so I still have a few skills that I can fall back on. But it is very possible that it's possible that this could be the last session, or I could end up doing one more after this. It all depends on what the prompts give me, and what the all depends on what the dice where the dice tell me to go, and what the prompt asks me to do. So, and then we have a few characters. All of my mortal characters are dead, um, including my father, whom I killed in the first part. Um, in a unexpected turn of events that I really did not expect. um, we have Gita, my mother. She is she's long. Not really sure what happened to her, but she's long dead now. Ragnar, who was my childhood friend. Not sure whatever happened to him. We had Astrid, who was a servant of mine when I was in Northumbria, in the northeast of England. We had Oswine, who was a servitor of the lineage and a descendant of Astrid, and he was somebody who traveled with me. He was a loyal friend and servitor, and but he I'm not sure how he died. He would have died somewhere along the way. Although he was turned against me by by Edna, a witch who is a descendant of another witch that apparently doesn't like me too much. We have Osk, who was trained by Oswine. Eric, who was a physician in a Danish settlement in Greenland. I forced him to care for Oswine when Oswine was ill. And then we have Candida and Paolo. I met them in Portugal, and they were people who accepted me for what I was, which was great. I ended up using them. I ended up exploiting them in a prompt told me to exploit people that I knew, or it told me to exploit people. Didn't tell me to exploit the people I knew. I was put in charge of a group of people, and um, I wasn't sure I was going to do it. But then I had someone in my chat, had friend say, "Yeah, yeah, make it them." So I did. So I did. Not my proudest moment. Definitely not my proudest moment. And then we have our immortals. We have Bjorn, who was a vampire who turned me. He was a sea captain, and he turned me. He gave me an ultimatum. It was, allow me to turn you when you can continue on this journey with your father, or don't, and I will kick you out. Kick me off the ship and never see my father again. So I agreed, and here we are. We have Roger, who was a smith. He was a mortal in I believe it was in Durham, and he ended up leading a mob to hunt me down. I escaped, and then somehow I ran into him in somehow I think I ran into him in Greenland, if I'm remembering correctly, and I ended up turning him. The hunter became, or the hunter became the hunted. Um, I, I turned him, so he is now he is now an immortal. He's now a vampire like me. And then we have Edith and Edna, who are two witches I have come across. Edna is Edith's descendant, um, and they're out there somewhere. I have no idea where they are. Absolutely no idea where they are. I think I've just about forgotten about Edith. Actually, I may have. It's possible I have actually forgotten about both of these two witches. Um, but they're out there somewhere, and they may come back. We're gonna find out. So, without further ado, oh yes, and then I'm sorry, my marks. Yes, I have two marks. A deep bite mark on my right wrist. I wear a glove to hide it. It's sort of like a Michael Jackson thing, several centuries ahead of my time, I suppose. And that I received when I was first turned by Bjorn. And then my feet have thick white fur and tough foot pads, similar to a polar bear or a lynx. And I now wear large boots to hide them. And that was that was an adaptation that my body did when I was roaming the glaciers of Greenland. So, and now, without further ado, let's see let's see what the dice have in store for us. That is a cocked dice, so I'm going to roll that d10 again. All right, so we have 7 minus 2, which is 5. So we left off on prompt 56. So we're gonna go up 5 to prompt 61. Once I get there. Great. Oh, okay. All right. Prompt 61 is this. Someone reminds you of a beloved character long dead. Check a skill to curry their acquaintance. Create a mortal character. Somebody who reminds me of a beloved character long dead. Well, I think the place I'm going to have to look for this. Oh, hello, Shannon. Thank you for joining me. And yes, this is Shannon says, "Ooh, fun! This is a fun prompt." Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you. um, so I'm gonna look. I think I need to look through my diary to see what characters haven't actual I haven't quite forgotten. Because I don't think I have any. I shouldn't say that, actual. I really shouldn't say that because I think I might actually have. Yes, I have the nomads. I have the nomads that are technically long dead because I believe I was asleep for about 200 years. I was asleep for 200 years. So there's them, and I still have a tangible. Sorry, I'm just having a look for. Here it is. Yes, I still have a tangible recollection of Paolo and Candida. So it could be somebody who reminds me of either one of them. And I think they're the only the only characters that I have a tangible recollection of. In terms of my diary, I don't remember my father at all. I just realized this. The entry for what how I became what I am is in my diary, but there was a prompt that told me to strike out 3 nouns, and you know from the entries, and the nouns that I believe I struck out father, I struck out Northumbria. So I don't remember. I don't really remember Northumbria, and I struck out one more sword. I struck out sword. Um, so they are 3 things that I have no recollection. I know that this was a thing I do. I know I went somewhere. I went on a second invasion of somewhere. I know I wanted to go with someone. I know I killed someone. Um, but I don't remember it being my father. Um, then there is Astrid. I think I still have a an abstract memory of Astrid, but I feel like I've already done the link to her with Oswine. As much as I love Astrid and I love Oswine. I can't do it with Roger because he is not, as far as I know, he is not dead. I could do it with Oswine. I could have somebody remind me of Oswine. I have a he's in my diary. And again, there's Oswine and Astrid. Oswine became very important to me, apparently, and that's it because I only have the 4 diary slots. But I'm thinking, yeah, and I have no, I don't think I have any recollection of, yeah, I have no recollection at all of Ragnar, so I can't do anything with him. And I have no recollection of at all of my mother or my father. And yeah, all right, um, so yeah, I think it's going to be Candida or Paolo. I just need to figure out which one. And I think what I'm going to do for that is I am going to roll a d4. Um, odd number. So 1 and 3 is 1 and 3 will be Paolo. 2 and 4 will be Candida. That'll be the person that I'm reminded of. And I rolled a 2. So evens was Candida. So the person that I come across reminds me of Candida. And I need to come up with a name for this person. So I'm still in Portugal. And of course, the tab I need is one of the tabs that I decided to close. And I am going to ask, I am just going to ask behind the name to give me a random name, a random Portuguese name. And the name it gives me is Candido. um, let's try that one again. Let's do that one again. Ooh. All right, let's go with this one. All right, so the character that I have, her name is called Mira. She is going to be a mortal. Create a mortal character. And yeah, I've met in Portugal. Helps if I can type. Reminds me of Candida. All right. Now, where do I put this? I think I know where I'm putting this. Um, it is going to be part of memory 4, I believe. No, it's not. I lie. It's going to be part of memory 5. Um, because it's related to the nomads. More specifically, tied to Candida. But It's really the only place I can put it without getting rid of the memory, the actual memory of Candida and Paolo. Um, and that kind of defeats the purpose of forgetting that would kind of defeat the purpose of having of having this prompt, this memory. I'd have to come up with a whole new thing. So I'm gonna tie it in with the nomads, and all right. And what year is this? So we're in. I think I'm gonna keep it the same year. So we're in year, I know it's 1310. So yeah, we'll keep it the same year. Why not? 1310. And let's see. Check a skill to curry their acquaintance. I'm gonna take a quick look at my skills just to see what I have here. Hmm. I may have to check the middleman skill, which would also make sense because it's been 200 years since I've had to ever act as a middleman between anybody. So, um, all right. I was in Porto. I was in Porto. I was in Porto buying. Um, I was in Porto's market. In need of cursor there. In need of food, and I don't eat human food, do I? I don't really eat human food. I can, I just don't like it. um, right, I am not human. I need to switch gears. Um, what am I in need of? I'm just in the market. You know what? Yeah, I was in Port, there we go. I was in Porto's market, browsing the browsing these stalls like I did every week. I did every week. I came across a stall of Tinkerer. Try stall. One stall of a Tinkerer. and stopped short. Working the stall was a woman who bore a striking resemblance to a good friend I'd had before my 200 years slumber. Friend, friend I had friend, though I had exploited. Friend who, though I had exploited them, had meant a lot to me. With those exploits long behind me, I approached the stall and began making conversation with her. Though it was merely small talk, our conversation was pleasant and left me feeling happy. Through it, discovered her name was Palmyra, and she just like my friend before, was a nomad, selling her skills and wares wherever folks needed them. I think, yep, I think that's a good spot to leave So leave that there. All right, I'm just going to put in here, just for my own record, that that Candida is the friend I am referring to in this experience. So this was prompt 61. All right, let's uh, let's carry on. Let's see where we go from here. All right, I have 3 minus 6 minus 3, so we are going back 3 to, so we'll be going back to prompt 58. Oh, oh my, okay. All right, so 58 is this. Society has changed. How has travel become easier for you? Recover any stationary resources for which you still have a memory. They are re-added to your resource list. Now the question is, do I still remember that? Do I actually still have a memory for that resource? So let's have a look, because I may actually not be able to regain this resource. So actually, I might, because I did have a home in I believe I had a home in Greenland. Hello, Dylan. Lovely of you to drop by. Thank you. Thank you for stopping in. I hope your weekend was well. And yeah, we're only a couple of prompts in. I've just met up with a with someone somebody who reminds me of a person I once knew. So, okay, resources. So, um, Dylan says this is a good long weekend before I move over to late shift, so I will get extra sleep in total. Extra sleep is amazing. Is absolutely amazing. Any chance I get to have extra sleep, I take it. And Dylan also says donated platelets on Saturday. It went well. Well, thank you. Thank you for doing that. I know you do it very often, but thank you. Um, for doing that, and I'm glad the donation went well. So, yeah, so I think I still have a memory of my home in Greenland, or at least I remember selling it, which means I very well may get this back. I may end up going back to Greenland. I'm sensing a little bit of a theme here. My last playthrough that I did, my first playthrough, um, I ended up moving. I don't know how many times I ended up um, in London, England, several times. And this is actually a prompt that I did receive in my first playthrough, when I ended up getting a property back like 400 years later. It was yeah. um, it was pretty rad actually. So I still have this was the trophy hunters. Um There we go. It's in memory 4. Um, when I sold my house to gain passage out of Greenland and to Portugal. So, I suppose I can connect it there since I'll regain that home. All right, and I mean travel. This is 1300. So I mean, I guess by now we have faster ships. Um, you know, and ships that can better travel long distances. So that works. That'll work. All right, so I'm gonna add it to number 4 since that's where the home is. And I still remember that home, which is kind of lovely, actually. So I'm going to give myself my home in Greenland back, since that is the home I remember having. And I'm just gonna move that up there, and yay! I have more resources. I have a resource now. I was completely out of them, with the exception of my diary, which technically is not a resource. I have a resource. Yeah, I have a stationary resource. And I regained in 1310 ish. And that is a stationary resource because I cannot pick it up and carry it with me. It is not a prefabricated house. All right. Yeah. So for whatever reason, I'm going back to Greenland, and let's call it year 1311. Let's just move back. Let's move up a couple of years, a year. Um, it had been I think it's only been, yeah, it really only has been 200 years since I left. Yeah. Well, it's been, yeah, yeah. It's only been about 200 years, so. Um, it had been 200 years since, since I'd last, since, since I last saw, since I'd last seen Greenland, and I was starting to miss it. Portugal was lovely, but the ocean vistas, Porto's Harbor, couldn't compare with the wide expanse, wide expanse of the glaciers, of the glaciers of the north. Unable stand it any longer. I boarded a ship heading north. Eventually found myself in the same Norse settlement I had left all those years ago. Upon disembarking, I wandered the town to reacquaint myself with it, and see what had become the place I had lived in, of the home I'd lived in. To my astonishment, the abode was empty. The abode was empty. It hadn't been very well maintained in recent years, which led me to believe it had been empty for some time. Well, it was not going to be empty any longer. I promptly moved back in. I'm back in Greenland. My I would say that my adventures in Portugal didn't last very long. Technically, they lasted 200 years, but I don't remember those 200 years. Um, so I'm back in Greenland. Um, all right, but hey, I have a resource now. As long as I don't lose it again, well, I might be okay. All right, so let's move along. We'll see what prompts give us. And that is a cocked die, so I'm going to roll that again. And that is a 5 minus 4, so that is 1. We are moving up 1 to from prompt 58 to prompt 59. Oh, um, this one could be interesting. Prompt 59 is this. A mortal discovers the journals of a long dead character or your own lost diary and approaches you. What do they seek? Gain a skill or a resource. Create a mortal character. Wow. Um, I of a long think I think it's gonna have to be Oswine. I feel like he's the only one um that could that this could really fit. Um and that where diaries would be readily available and not possibly not lost to time, because I can't have my own, I can't have them give me back my own diary. I haven't lost my diary yet. And I feel like Oswine would be the only person who would have kept a journal in which I would have been a part of. Um, that that anybody would have any reason um to say, hey, I think you are the person in this in this journal. Huh. And I just moved back to Greenland too. Um, so yeah, this could be this could be interesting. Now where do I put it? And I have a feeling I need to forget something. I have a feeling there is something I need to forget. Um, hmm. Sorry, my cat just walked in. He's laying on the floor. I wasn't sure if he was going to make an appearance, but apparently not. He's decided the floor is a lot more comfortable than my bed, or or the windowsill. Okay, so where do I put this? I can't put it in memory four. Memory four is very full. It has nothing to do with my labyrinth. That was memory three. Um, it really has nothing to do with me tracking the trophy hunters at all. Memory one is completely full. Um, and mentions my servitors, but um, yeah, I'm gonna have to forget something. I'm pretty sure. And memory five, memory four is yeah, again very full, and it's mostly me roaming around. I think pretty much. Um, it's me leaving Greenland and then going back. Memory five is about the nomads. So it really doesn't fit there. So I'm gonna have to forget a memory. And I think the memory I'm gonna get rid of is the trophy hunters. And I'm just gonna discard it because I don't. It's not a very important memory. Yes, I got caught by people who were following the same trophy hunters I was and thought I was a trophy hunter. Um, so yeah, that one is going bye bye, and that's just going down into my discarded memories. Down here. And this is discarded memory 10. And this was a memory 2. And here. Yeah, that was a memory 2. Okay. Um, So I think I moved back. I said 13, 11. I moved back and yeah. So let's fast forward a few years. It was 13, 11. Let's make it 13. Somebody pick a number between 12 and 20. Um, somebody pick a number, and that's what I'll go with. Between 12 and 20. Crowdsourcing at its finest. 13, year 13. 1350. Let's go with that. Okay. So I'm in Greenland. Somebody has found journals. Which means I'm going to need another name. Because I'm going to need another character. And um all right. Okay. I found work as a fisherman again. And was doing very well for myself. One night, as I was mooring my boat to the pier, I was approached by a man. Fear, fear bubbled within me as I remembered last time someone approached me in this manner. I remembered that the last time someone had approached me in this manner, I'd been forced to flee. When he reaches the boat, he tells me he has in his possession something I will find most intriguing. He reveals to me a leather-bound book that has um, been a bit weathered over time, but is still in pretty good condition. He tells me it belonged and I just realized my tense has changed. Oops. He tells me it belonged to a man named Oswine, and that someone matching my description is mentioned in it many times. Um, he also says that the writer made claim that I was a creature of the night, a creature who fed on blood to survive. When I ask him what he wants of me. And he merely responds with the truth. Remembering what happened last time I was exposed, I tell him that Tell him that the words on those pages are mere fantasy. And that Oswine likely had a wild imagination and nothing more. Visitor who introduced himself as Jacob looks disappointed. Apparently, he had put a lot of faith in those words being true. Suddenly, the book he'd carried no longer means anything to him. How could it, if the words are not true? He sets it down. He sets it down on the pier and walks away sullenly. Almost regret lying to him. Almost. Pick up the book. And make my way home. Vowing to keep Oswine's journals. There we go. I now have Oswine's journal. And that was prompt 59. And my characters, I have one more. So I have Jacob, who is another mortal. And man who had Oswine's journal, which I now have. And I now have Oswine's journals. Which are a leather-bound book chronicling his life with me. There we go. All right. Onward and upward. So the next prompt is 9 minus 6 is 3. So that's going to bring us up to prompt 62. Okay, prompt 62 is this. You realize that some ancient taboo or limitation you long believed in no longer exists, no longer applies. What circumstances prompted this discovery? How does this make your existence more satisfying? Change one checked or unchecked skill in a way that's relevant. Ooh, wow. I'm not entirely sure what to do with this one. I'm really not. I mean, I haven't done I really haven't done the daylight harms me thing. Um, but I could. I might have an idea. I think I have an idea. Um, and I think this is another one that is really not going to um fit anywhere. So I think I'm gonna have to forget another one, another memory. And I think it's probably gonna have to be memory three because there's really not much else I can do with that memory, with what's there. So, um, all right. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm going to pull it down the bottom. Sorry for the scrolling. And this is discarded memory 11, and it was memory free for a while. Oops, need to find memory 3. There we go. And okay, and I'm going to fast forward again um, to fast forward again. It's going to be year 1320, I think. Let me see here. Ever since No, for as long as I can remember. For as long as I can remember. I have taken great pains I've taken great pains to avoid a person, building, or anything else bearing a cross. It had been something I believed would harm me. Harm me in some way. And I never stuck around to find out how. Um, until one night, while enjoying a brew in the local tavern, a brawl broke out. A brawl broke out, and I got involved. One of the brawlers was wearing a necklace cross. And I tried my hardest to avoid dueling du- dueling with him, as the cross would likely do me harm. Fortunately, my efforts were in vain, and he and I he and I were duking it out. Somehow in our scuffle, grabbed hold of his necklace and was shocked to discover Nothing happened when I touched it. There was no pain, no no pain, no uneasy feeling, no recoil of any kind. It was just a cross in my hand. This newfound knowledge was a sigh of relief. I no longer had to fear that symbol. And I could now go wherever I pleased. And I can now go wherever I pleased. Having one less thing to worry about gave me joy. And I knew from here on out, my life was going to be a little easier. There we go. And that was prompt 62. And now I need to change a checked or unchecked skill. And I think I did forget, and I just realized that I forgot to check the, middleman skill a little while ago. Just realized I forgot to do that. Alright, I'm just gonna move my, some of my here, and just to keep them a little bit separate. Now I can change either a checked skill or an unchecked skill in a way that is relevant. Now, I mean, I'm just not sure if you're simply changing the checked skill or you're kind of unchecking the skill. Because because it would kind of be lovely to bring back the I know how to assimilate thing, in which this would um, actually be a great way to be able to assimilate, because I no longer run in fear of the symbol. Um, but it says change one checked or unchecked skill. Um, in a way, and it has to be in a way that's relevant to this. Hmm. I may actually have to either forego that, or I know it really doesn't tell me to uncheck a skill, but I might have to in order to do what I need to do with this prompt. Or I don't bother changing skill. I there is some wiggle room with these prompts. You don't always have to do um everything that the prompt tells you to do. Hmm. I think I'm gonna have to forego the changing of the skill. I think that's kind of the only thing I can do right now. Yeah, unless I just, unless I take a liberty that I'm really not supposed to, the prompt is not telling me to do, and I bring back that, knowing how to assimilate, because I can now assimilate more. No, I think I'm just gonna forego. I think I'm just going to not bother changing um a skill um to fit this. So yeah. So with that, I'm gonna go on. We're gonna go on to the next prompt. And I have nine. You know what? I'm gonna roll that nine again. Technically, it's on camera, but it is obscured by the writing, so I'm gonna roll that again. And okay, so I have 10 minus 4, which is 6, and that will bring us up to prompt 68. Okay, we're getting up there in the prompts here now. I believe there are 80 prompts, 80 base prompts. Um, and so we're nearing the 70s. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the next couple of prompts. Whether or not whether there's a part 7 of this. Um, okay, well, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Prop 68 is this. And an antiquity has surfaced which is directly tied to your mortal life. Check a skill or lose a resource and gain the antiquity as a resource. Then regain one of your earliest memories. Wow. Record an experience about acquiring the antique. Um, wow. Now, I'm actually kind of curious with the regaining of my earliest memory. Is that in place of a memory that I already have, or is it including the memories that I already have. I am not sure. um, wow. Okay, an antiquity has surfaced. So I either check a skill or lose a resource, and then I gain the antiquity as a resource. So it doesn't tell me to regain something, which I'll admit is kind of a shame because it would be lovely to have my mother's sword back. But something tells me Edith still has that and is not willing to give that up. Okay, well, an antiquity has surfaced. Um, so it's got to be something old and something directly tied to my mortal life. I think I know what that antiquity is going to be. I think that antiquity is going to be a shield. Um, because that really directly ties to my mortal life. I was a shield maiden. Um, so now do I check a skill, which I might do. I actually might do because I still have a few. I don't feel like losing a resource right now. So I think I'm going to check a skill. Um, and I think the skill I'm going to check is possibly going to be visionary. I think I really don't have another use for that skill. I only got because I've lost the memory associated with it. So I think that's going to be the skill I'm going to check. So I'm going to do that right now, just so that it's done. So I'm going to check that skill. I'm going to gain um, shield, which is an antiquity. So it's going to be it'll be a Norse shield. Um, and I regain one of my earliest memories. So it's going to have to be who I am, I guess. Actually, I think it'll be the memory of my. Yeah, it's not going to be the first one. Or that's in my diary. Sorry. One of my earliest memories. Which wouldn't have been that, wouldn't have been that. Though it could be. Um, it could be the one, although that's my diary. Sorry. I need to look at my discard. I really should be looking at my discarded memories, but that would free up a diary entry to bring it back. Ragnar, yeah, there's nothing for Ragnar. Um, that was a trance I was in when I was in Northumbria. Um, I may have to do this with, it may have to be memory three that comes back. Then I'll remember Oswine again. or it's one of my diary entries. 'Cause I think one of my diary entries is who I am or is who I was. Um, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. I lied. I lied. No. So it's gonna have to be. It's gonna. Wow. It's gonna be one of my forgotten memories. All of a sudden, boop, it's come back. So I think it's gonna be this one. I am Dagny. So this is a regained memory. I now. I forgot where I came from, and I forgot where I came from and who I was, and now I have now regained that. Wow, wow. Um, wow. Okay. Yeah, when I say this game can throw you curveballs, it really can. So I'm going to toss this into. I'm going to sort of make this a different, another. I'm just going to call it a regained memory. I think because that's really the only thing I can do with it. Um, really all I can do with that. I'm just gonna move that down a little bit. And then I need to record an experience about acquiring the antique. So I have a shield, and I am no longer a visionary. I've checked that skill. I've forgotten um skill. I mean, now what do I tie it into? Can I tie it into anything? That is the most important question. Can I tie it into anything? Well, I can't. Ooh, okay, I can't tie it into memory four. Memory four is full. Memory five is about the nomads, so no, I can't tie it in there. Memory two, I don't want to forget receiving Oswine's book just yet, and I'm not ready to forget that you know that crosses don't hurt me. So it might have to be memory one. And I feel like Candida and Paolo are important in I don't know why I feel they're important to me. They just are. Um and losing my servitors. I don't want to, completely forget about them. Um I really don't want to forget just yet forget, moving back moving back in, only 9 years after I've done it. And I don't want to forget about the Nomad. So yeah, it's going to be them. And I think what I'm going to do, because I now have a free space in my diary entry, is this is going to move into the empty space in my diary. I have rewritten uh oh no it hasn't. No, I can't. I'm sorry. This is not going into my diary because the memory that I pulled out is was not in my diary at all. Okay. Do I rewrite a diary entry? Do I write over? Um, hmm. Or do I bring back diary entry 2? Because that'll tie into. I mean, I know it's my skills as a blade, and I'll still forget what I lost. But I will then remember that my mother was a shield maiden. And then I'll remember, um, and then I'll remember losing something, but I won't know what I lost. I think that's actually what I'm going to do. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to undo a whole bunch of stuff. And make sure that it is. Nope. All right. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to regain diary entry 2. It's going to be my regain memory. That's my regain memory. And I'm going to move memory 1. I'm going to put that in my diary entry. All right, there we go. There we go. Because I remember that way. It just kind of correlates, I think, a little bit. Okay, so recording experience with acquiring the antique. And I'm going to fast forward again. A few years, 1325. Um, I know. I think I know what I'm going to do. A ship's captain is looking for a crew to sail back. I say to sail back. To sail to Norway. I don't know. I don't know what overtook me. but signed up almost immediately. Because I still know how to sail. The journey was long, but eventually we made landfall in Norway. Place my journey, the place both my mortal and inhuman and inhuman lives had begun. While we were docked, I took some time to wander the town and the wilds that surrounded it. Near the corner of the town, uh, not far from the town limits. I watched a farmer till his field. Back and forth he went, performing a task. Performing a task he had probably done since he was a child. Then, in the middle of the field, he stopped. He seemed perplexed. Something had stopped. Something had stopped his plow. Silently, I moved in closer as he dug through the mud to free whatever it was holding him up. when he at last freed it, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was a shield. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it was a shield. As I looked at it, images of a long bygone time flooded my mind's eye. Slung on my mother's back, a shield that looked almost exactly like this. Exactly like this one in the farmer's hands. Chances of it having belonged to my mother were slim. But I felt a strong connection to the item regardless. When I regarded the farmer again, I realized he had no idea what he was going to do with it. At once, I approached him, told him I would be more than happy to take it off his hands. And I was willing to pay for it. I gave him a few gold pieces, and the exchange was made. There we go. And that was prompt 68. All right. I think we're coming toward the end of the session. I think I'm going to do one more prompt. I'm going to do one more prompt. We'll see what the prompt is, and then I think I'm going to call it after this next prompt, because I have to get up for work tomorrow fairly early. So one more prompt, and that prompt is, well, we're going back to it's 1 minus 3, which is minus 2. So we are going back to prompt 66. And let's see what prompt 66 is. Oh, all right. All right, prompt 66 is your knowledge is outmoded. Lose an unchecked skill, which is now useless. Well, all right. Let's see what skill I can get rid of. Um, so I'm either getting rid of I know how to sail, or I'm getting rid of I know how to fish. And I'm thinking the one that I'm least likely to use at this point is knowing how to sail. So I'm going to check that skill. And just like last session, I lied. And apparently I'm going to do one more prompt because that one I didn't do much. I really didn't do much. So let's do one more prompt. And I'm going backwards. So I have 3 minus 6. So minus 3. I am going back to prompt 62. Think? No, I'm not. I'm going back to prompt 63. Sorry, math? What is math? Sorry, just gotta find it. Sorry, what prompt was I on? Sorry, that was prompt 68. Sorry, and I'm going back 3. So I'm sorry, I'm going back to prompt 65. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Prompt 65 is this. A possession turns out to have financial value as an antique. Trade your oldest resource for 2 contemporary resources. So, what am I trading? My oldest resource. Now, do they mean the resource I've had the longest, or my oldest resource? Because my oldest resource would technically be the shield I just acquired. In terms of age, if they mean the resource that I've had the longest, that would be the home. That would be my home in Greenland that I just got back. Um, all right. Um, I have a feeling though it's gonna have to be the sword because I really don't know what I could trade my house for, and I don't know if I mean, I also have Oswine's journals, which are technically older. So actually, maybe I could maybe get rid of Oswine's journals. Sell them as a work of fiction, and um, all right. So I will trade that in, and I have no idea what I'm gonna get, but in return. But let's see. So I think I'm gonna where do I put this? Ah, um, I think I'm gonna have to get some. Oh, wait a minute. No, I can put it in with memory too because it's related to the book. It's related to the finding to obtaining that journal. So it's gonna go here. Um And you know what? I'm still in Norway. Um, I'm still in Norway. So it's year 1325, and I feel like, or you know what? No, or maybe I'm back in Greenland. 'Cause I don't know if I would have taken Osmine's. Maybe I would have taken Osmine's journals with me. Let's say I did take them with me. So I'm still in Norway. Um, all right. And this doesn't tell me to write a prompt for it, but or write an experience. But I think I'm going to, just to describe the trade, that I'm doing here. Um, no, it's been a while. It's been a while because I no longer know how to sail. It's been a while, so I'm back in Norway now. I'm back in Norway, and I'm going to, let's say it's 1330. Um, I ended up staying in Norway. Um, no, I'm back. I'm back in Greenland. I'm back in Greenland. Um, can you tell me I overthink things a lot? Um, I am. I'm at home. I'm at home, entertaining a couple of people, who have become friends, who have become friends of mine. One of them, a merchant, sees a leather-bound journal on my table and inquires about it. As he leafs through the book, I tell him it is a work of fiction by a writer with wild imagination. The merchant is interested. It's old and has more value than I know. tells me he is willing to trade it for goods of his own. Goods that would be far more useful to me than an old book. He offers me contemporary resource. Um, I was a shield maiden. I'm now a fisherman. Contemporary resource. I'm still a fisherman, so he offers me he offers me a superbly made knife with which I can better gut my fish and and a and a and a beautiful tapestry with which I can keep cold out of my house. My bedroom is particularly drafty, and I know I could use a better knife for my profession. I agree. I agree. And make the trade. All right. That was prompt 65. And that will be the last prompt of the night. I'm just giving myself that little those little asterisks to remind myself for next time that that's where I left off, and that I am on page 49 of the of the PDF. And I'm just going to add, so I have a knife and a tapestry added to my list of resources. So Oswine's journals are gone. They are, I have traded them. Sorry, Oswine. I said I was going to keep them. I told the other dude I was going to keep them safe. I lied, apparently. Um, so I now have a superbly made knife, and I have a tapestry that will um tapestry I can use to keep draft out of my bedroom. And there we have it. There we have it. Part 6 of Dagny's Adventures of Thousand-Year-Old Vampire. Um, Thank you to those who tuned in and stuck with me for this night. Thank you to those who have watched um, every stream, who've been here for the journey. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And those of you if you're joining me for the first time, welcome. I am Jen. This is what I do. This is something actually I'm looking to get into. Just gonna make myself a little bit bigger here. But yeah, this is something that something I really do want to get into, the solo journaling RPGs. They're just a really great way for me to get the creative juices going. And Yeah, this is me. If you are watching this on YouTube after the fact, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications. That way you'll know when my videos go up. I do put my streams up on YouTube afterwards. I'm a little bit behind. This week I'm hoping to get the other two videos that I did the other week up. Hopefully by Wednesday. Um, and so yeah, they'll go up after the fact. If you're watching this right now, live on Twitch, head over to my YouTube channel. Hit like or hit subscribe, hit the bell. If you're watching me for the first time here on Twitch, and you like what you've seen, you like what I've done, what I do, um, hit the follow button and hit the notification, click the little bell so you'll know when I next go live. I would really really appreciate that. All of my links are down. I will do this right eventually. Are down below here. Um, the first link is the link to purchase this lovely game. Thousand-Year-Old Vampire. timhutchings.itch.io. I've had a lot of fun. This is my second playthrough of it. My first time streaming it, but it's my second playthrough. And there is definitely some replayability with this game. You could play it even just with the base prompts. There are 80 of them. And you're not always guaranteed to get the same prompts all the time. I've come across a couple that I've already done. But they're no less interesting the second time around. Really, they're still, because each story is going to be different. You could probably play this 5, 6 different times and create 5 or 6 different vampires and their life story. You're going to have 5 or 6 different life stories, which is really great. And then the PDF also includes something like 100, 200 other alternative prompts that that you can do. Some of them are pretty whimsical. Some of them are a little nonsensical. Some of them, but even those ones are great. I watched a stream of Thousand-Year-Old Vampire done with the alternative prompts. prompts, and they were great. I can't wait to get to them. I'm probably going to do I am going to do a second stream of this with the alternative prompts, because they just look fun, and I love this game. I really do love this game. Um, but yeah, if you want to pick it up, the link is again right there, right there. You can download the PDF. I believe it's $15 US. Or you can purchase a second printing of the hardcover book, which I'm gonna pull up again. I'm just gonna hang out over here for a minute, and it should pop up any point. There it is. There's the hardcover book. It's a thing of beauty. It really is, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. You can pick that up. I'm not sure how much that was. I believe it cost me somewhere around $40 Canadian. Um, Somewhere between 40 and $50 Canadian. Um, I'm not sure what that equates to in if you're watching this in if you're watching this from another country. I'm not sure what that equates to in with your currencies, but I really can't wait to flip through it, to really be able to hold it tangibly in my hands, and look through, and really look at the artwork, um, in a organic sense. Yes, it's great to have it on my tablet, um, as a PDF, but I like being able to hold on to something tangibly. So yeah, so this was part 6 of Dagny's adventures. I'm just gonna pull the thing down. There we go. And I have a feeling that next session, which will be part 7. I have a feeling that one is probably going to be the last one. I could be wrong, but we're getting up there in the prompts. We're almost at the 70s. So, and about the 70s is when you start getting to what I call the end game prompts, where your vampire gets destroyed. So, spoiler alert. um, my vampire will die by the end of it. That is how this game ends. She will die somehow in some way, and hopefully you'll be here to watch that happen. I'm hoping that my next stream is going to be Wednesday night. That is my next day off, and hopefully you will join me then. I'll be there about probably about 7 o'clock. So until then, I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. I hope everybody, those of you who are watching it live, are here. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for taking time out of your evening. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you for taking time out of your day, to listen to me babble for for 2.5 hours. I really appreciate it, and I will see all of you next time. Please stay safe. Have a good week. And until next time.